A lovely good morning to our viewers. Welcome to another exciting edition of the Camnet TV Breakfast Show of today being the 27th of May 2022. Of course, when we come here every single Fridays, we always look at the business world, what is happening in the business community. I am your host, Miriam Kaimba. Of course, in the studio, I am not alone. This is a familiar face. I'm not with my beautiful lady, like the way she always introduced me, but I am joined by my handsome, my handsome co-host, Patrick Soko. Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
Fine. How are you? You decided to actually charm me in the morning. I don't know what Sharon will do to you because she thinks otherwise. But
oh, really?
yeah, but I'm flattered, and I'm gonna write this show with you.
Do you know when we come on this show, every time Prudence opened the show, she would always, use, romantic, beautiful words when introducing me. So I was just, doing the same.
Okay.
How is your morning?
My morning is okay, and yourself?
Yeah, so trying.
Quite an interesting program we have
Exactly.
for you, our dear viewers. We will be having our interview as usual. Just wait for it as we're going to be introducing our guest. We have a prominent guest and who's going to help us discuss trending business issues. As usual, Miriam, what else do we have on the program?
Okay, Soko, so every time when we come on this show, we always emphasize that you exercise, you follow the doctor's health corner, and of course, not forgetting how the kwacha is trending against other currencies. So yeah, those are some of the segments that we have lined up for our guests. And of course, this particular morning, I must say that, Soko, it's a must-watch interview because, people wouldn't want to miss out on the important guest that we have this morning on what exactly is going to share with our viewers out there with regards to our topic of discussion this morning. But anyway, before we go much into details, let's go into our morning boost and catch us on the other side.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Boost. I'm sure you've been following our programs and not just watching but also trying to exercise. So welcome, and today we're going to be working on the abs. All right, let's go. Warm up. Let's go. Same jumping jacks. Instead of going all the way up, this time here we go. That's your warm-up today. Go. All right. So that's a 1 minute warm up. Let's do some abs workout now. Okay. As you can see, I came with a bottle of water. We're going to do some Russian twist. There you go. Get a bottle, put it down there. If you have a dumbbell, good for you. I'm going to sit here, working on the abs. Lean back a bit. There you go. 1. 7. 10. Okay. Go to the second one. We're going to come back to this one. Here we go. Lie down. That was 10. I'm going to do another 10. Let's go. That's 10. Bring back the bottle. Let's go. 10. 8, and 9, 10. Go down. Let's go 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's the set, which is 40. If you want after that, you can take a break. Let's do another one now. Still on the abs. Okay. I'm gonna be now sliding on the side. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 15-second break. Then you go back to the workout again. Another 10. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many? 8, 9, 10 for those that are watching on Facebook. So that's 20. Here we go now. Elbow to knee crunches. And then we start doing it. Okay. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Change. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So you've done your abs workout for today. And we do that again. And it's going to work out fantastic for you. Let's cool down. I only have seconds to my 5 minutes now. And very soon I'll be signing out. So that's how you do your abs workout. We did 3, if you noticed. So let's go march and start cooling down. March, march, march. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I've enjoyed my session with you. Looking forward to training with you again. Let's go.
Welcome back. I hope you did enjoy that beautiful exercising morning with Isaac Machisa. Patrick, every time I come on the show, I always try to find out from Prudence if she does exercise, because this is a very, very important thing that you should do every single morning. Do you do that?
I probably can see how I'm shaping up very well. I cannot be likened to the likes of Bonwell Mulungwe or Frederick Chitapanko, because I'm doing very fine when it comes to this morning workout.
Okay.
I've been following you. Even if when you're doing that breakfast with Prudence Chota,
Yes.
I do follow the routine with Isaac Machisa. Just 5 minutes is enough to get yourself started for the day, and I've been doing fine, and no longer having that potential.
And you know, I saw B-Mac in the background, you know, shaking his head and saying, "Oh, so you're lying. You're not good than me."
We'll put him here on the stage next week. We'll put him.
It's a challenge that you're putting up.
Yeah, so that we can. Well, in fact, we can do a workout. How Isaac is doing it, we'll do it together.
Anyway, B-Mac, I hope we'll have him on stage next time so that we see the challenge.
Yes.
Exactly.
We'll push the challenge there, maybe.
Yeah.
You'll be the referee and you'll see how we take this thing seriously. And just now it is the right time for us to get to understand what the doctors from the Medical Women Association of Zambia have prepared for us. They continue to give us a number of health tips, and they've been doing that consistently, and we are getting abreast with various issues pertaining to our health. Be sure to just join us every day as the doctors give us various tips on health matters. And this week we've been talking about the subject of BP, high blood pressure, hypertension, and we are learning a lot. And this segment for today focuses on awareness, and Dr. Nalube did justice to that topic. Let's get to listen to this.
morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Mainga Nalube, and I'm with the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. This week, we've been discussing a very important topic and a very common condition. This is high blood pressure, otherwise known as hypertension. We discussed what it is, its risk factors, the signs and symptoms, complications, and we also talked about its diagnosis and treatment. So for today, we're just going to wrap everything up and go through it step by step so that we know what take-homes we should have, what things you should always remember about high blood pressure. So we said blood pressure is the force with which blood goes through your arteries. We discussed what arteries are, from your heart going to the other parts of your body. So we also talked about the types of high blood pressure. Your high blood pressure could be primary or secondary. The doctors usually know this. So you'll be told you have high blood pressure, but they'll do tests to see if you had a condition or a disease, or were you on any drug that could have caused this high blood pressure. That's secondary high blood pressure. But then primary, we also have primary, which is high blood pressure that's not caused by any underlying or already existing disease or condition. So we also went ahead and talked about risk factors. It's very important that you know the risk factors so that you know if you have these, you know how to prevent eventually having high blood pressure. So we said some of the risk factors, and just to split them, we said that we have modifiable and non-modifiable risk factors. Modifiable being those things that you can, being those risk factors that you can do something about, so you can change them. You can change something about it. And then for non-modifiable, these are the ones that you cannot do anything about. So for the non-modifiable risk factors, we say these are things such as your family history. You don't choose what family you're born into. And so if you're born into a family with people that have hypertension, there's a high chance that you could also have hypertension in future. But this does not mean that it's for sure and it's certain that you have hypertension. No. It's just a high increased chance. It's not 100% chance. And so another example of a non-modifiable risk factor is old age. We don't choose if we're going to get younger or get older. We keep getting older. And so with old age, you have an increased chance of having hypertension. So with hypertension treatment, we mentioned that we focus on those risk factors that we can do something about, which are the modifiable risk factors. These are things like reducing or completely stopping alcohol intake, stopping smoking, reducing your weight if you are overweight, and increasing the amount of exercise that we do. We mentioned that each and every person should have at least 30 minutes of a short exercise. It could even be walking every day to keep healthy. And so away from what it is and the risk factors, on Tuesday we looked at the signs and symptoms and the complications of hypertension. We mentioned that hypertension has been known to be a silent killer, especially when people don't have regular checks of their BP. We mentioned that if you do present with signs and symptoms, most of these signs and symptoms are non-specific, meaning it could mean that you have even just another disease and not hypertension. Some of these could be a headache. Something like a headache doesn't always mean you have hypertension. And so that's why it's important that we have regular BP checks to be sure. And then we also mentioned that there are very huge complications for untreated or undiagnosed high blood pressure. So that's why it's also very important that we keep having regular checks, especially if you have the risk factors that I mentioned. So complications could be things such as stroke being the most important one. You could also have things such as a heart attack. You could have visual problems or visual loss. So you could, high blood pressure could cause blindness. You can also have kidney failure. So seeing that these complications are very big, it's very important that you go for your checkups. This is something that I want you to take home from this week's discussion on hypertension. Have regular checkups. And we do this even in the hospitals. When you come to the hospital, even just for anything else, we do your vital checks. And part of these vital checks, we do your blood pressure. And the other thing that we talked about was how to diagnose and how to treat hypertension. So we said when you go to the hospital, They use a BP machine. This could be automated, an automatic one, or a manual BP machine. For those who are living with hypertension, it's very important that you can either buy, if you can afford, you can buy an automated BP machine and have it at home, because you have to regularly check your BP as you take your drugs for the doctor to review every time you see them. Or you could go to your nearest pharmacy, nearest clinic, and have your blood pressure checks. We also mentioned that if you're living with BP, it's good that you have a record. You could keep a little small book. You could buy a little small book and record your blood pressure check all the time. This is very important for the doctor to see when you go back for your reviews. We also mentioned that on diagnosis, sometimes the doctors can do further tests to see if there's been any complications in your organs. So things such as visual tests, tests on your urine to see if there's been any damage to your kidneys, tests on your heart. We also mentioned that for the treatment, there's two forms or two modalities of treatment. We could focus on lifestyle modifications, and also we have drugs which we call antihypertensives that we give to people who have high blood pressure. So these could go hand in hand. We said lifestyle modifications is simply changing those things, those risk factors that we mentioned can be changed, or something can be done about them. And we also mentioned one very important thing that I want you to go home with, that I want you to always remember about high blood pressure, is that don't believe the myths that you're told about it. So don't believe the myths that you are told about high blood pressure, because if it's treated, you could live a long life and have a good quality of life. But if untreated, you could have the complications that we've talked about, and these things could actually lead to death. So you don't want that to happen if you're living with high blood pressure. It's very important that you follow everything that the doctor tells you about it, and take your drugs. If you have drugs for high blood pressure, take them daily to avoid these complications. Thank you so much for following this week's topic, which has been high blood pressure, or otherwise known as hypertension. My name is Dr. Mainga Naluwe, and I'm with the Medical Women's Association of Zambia.
Welcome back. You are still watching the Camnet Breakfast Show, the business edition, with me, Patrick Soko, and Miriam Kaemba. And we were just looking at our important segment, which is called Health Corner, that is brought to us by the Medical Women Association of Zambia. And Dr. Naluwe there has been explaining throughout this week quite a number of issues pertaining to the issue of BP, or hypertension, and high blood pressure. Usually it was unfashionable for me. We're actually talking about this issue, Miriam, with Sharon, that if I see Miriam saying that I have BP, so is that a body that needs to have BP? You know,
really, so cool.
because growing up, my thinking has been that BP only affects those with those that are huge,
yeah,
with big bodies. And I didn't know that it's actually a condition.
It's a condition, and,
yes. If you see, it can affect everyone.
Yeah, like the doctor did mention there, if you have a family, if you're coming from a family which had, you know, such kind of a condition, you're likely in future to have that. And well, she also did allude to the fact that as you grow older, these are more, you're prone to have, you know, a BP. But anyway, the most dangerous thing is about, you know, what this leads to. You know, it can cause kidney failure, cause blindness, and this is something that we should, if you are out there and you have BP pressure, you know, hypertension pressures, please make sure that you visit a nearest medical health facility to ensure that you are okay, so that we don't have to see you, having this complicated condition later on in future. Yeah. So
yes, it is important that sometimes we just go for a checkup. Even if you are not feeling sick, it is good to just go and check your body. There are various checks. You check your BP, you check for your eyes, you check for your ears.
We are Africans. We always wait until we are sick.
That's
when we rush to the hospital. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can be proactive to ensure that we keep our health. Just now, Miriam, we need to understand how the kwacha is performing against other major convertible currencies.
Exactly. As we come on this show, we always, being that we will always look at business, we always emphasize that how the kwacha is trending against other major currencies. So that's how kwacha is trending against other major currencies. The US dollar, kwacha is buying at 17 kwacha 05 ngwe and selling at 17 kwacha 38 ngwe, and against the euro it's buying at 18 kwacha 89 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 26 ngwe, and against the British pound it's selling at 21 kwacha 53 ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 85 ngwe, and against the South African rand it's buying at 1 kwacha 08 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 10 ngwe. And that was an update of today, how the kwacha is trending, the 27th of May 2022. I almost said 2021.
Yeah, I know, probably still in the election mode.
No.
We have moved on.
Imagine.
We have a new government.
Yeah. So,
and we have Bali in office.
We have Bali in office.
Take us back.
No, Patrick, please don't accuse me. I am not taking you back.
Okay.
It was almost, I almost said that, but anyway, I just realized that we are in 2022 and soon we'll be approaching 2023. I can't wait to see what.
Kwacha interesting, and we see the kwacha has been now trading around 17 kwacha. But last week it was trading around 16 kwacha, and Sharon was actually excited that it was gaining momentum, and equally myself and yourself, I should assume. But a strong currency is what we need at the moment as a country, for us to ensure that we do not continue to experience the escalating commodity prices. And if the kwacha continues to depreciate, we may reach at a point again where the ERB, during their monthly review, which will be done next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday, they may be revising the pump fuel price by adjusting upwards, and which we don't want.
We don't want to see that.
We just hope that the kwacha remains stable, so that the ERB does not tamper with the prices of fuel, because at the moment, most of the people are having challenges to cope with this, especially that the prices, the bus fares are on the rise. And sometimes, I remember Sharon and I discussing that for the past some 2 days, I had to come with a bicycle all the way from Lilai, Chona, Chawama, passing through up to Kamwara, up to Kablonga with a bicycle to save money, because this kind of arrangement here. But I'm not used to riding a bicycle.
Yeah, I understand.
And you need to understand, as a journalist, it's not easy to ride a bicycle.
I know.
You can't be riding a bicycle while you are covering news. You'll be thinking to say, my bicycle or this breaking news?
Or this breaking news, because you're afraid that the moment
I'm parking my
immediately
someone may grab it.
Especially when you're doing community stories, go in these community compounds, and then immediately you park. There's a possibility that you might not find your bike there.
So you have to debate. So okay, you leave the breaking news, then you ride up to Kablonga.
That becomes a challenge, even in terms of executing your duty.
When you come to the studio, you tell your supervisor that, boss, I want to. I met some people where there's this fracas that was happening. I couldn't cover it because I was on a bicycle and everything. Then they tell you, said, you are mad.
Really? Anyway, so right about now, Soko will just zoom in some of the stories surrounding to the business world, what happened during this week. Yeah.
So we look at that story on the EU forum.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And this has been quite an important event, Miriam. The European Union is a huge partner for Zambia, just like the other countries. And we see to it that trade ties between the two, between Zambia and the EU are enhanced, because if Zambia has enhanced ties with the EU, then it is guaranteed to have foreign direct investments into the country. And this forum was one of the kind, and quite interesting issues did emerge from that. And we are talking about European companies coming into Zambia, and there has been a call that they need to be investing
more
in the country, but they need to partner with the locals so that Zambians can benefit and ensure that there's that transfer of knowledge and skills to the locals, so that we can be able to be sustainable in the near future, because at the end of the day we need to make sure that Zambians are at the center of development. And just this week, Miriam, we've been talking about quite an important issue. We've been commemorating the Africa Freedom Day, which is also known as Africa Day. This is a day that is marked by the African Union in honor of self-governance, and as well as being free from exploitation from foreign interests.
Yeah.
That's why this Africa Freedom Day is commemorated. And it was quite interesting, because even here we did unpack some of the issues that were emerging under the African on Africa Day, because Miriam, we talk about self-governance, quite right. Zambia and other African countries did liberate themselves from a foreign rule. Like in our case, we were liberated ourselves from the British colony. The question that has been there has been, wow, we managed to get this independence, or to be governing ourselves now, 58 years for Zambia. Have we achieved economic freedom?
That's a question.
This has been a question that we've been asking. And we just hope that this new administration will be responding to this question for several years to come, up to the period of 5 years, because achieving independence politically, Miriam, is one thing, but are we in charge of our resources?
Exactly.
Are we making sure that we benefit effectively from our resources?
And this is a question that each and every Zambian should be asking themselves. Are we free? Are we economically free? So yeah, and you know, I'm looking forward with our guests of this morning, with our, of course, our topic of discussion. Maybe you'll be able to respond to some of those questions and just highlight how possible way we as Zambians can be economically free as we move forward. Yeah, this is a country that we would need to see and develop it. It's our own country, Patrick Soko.
Interesting. And talking about the Zambian concept, I was also caught up in a story, Miriam, which we're going to be zooming in just in a few moments, because this is an interesting story where a local company is actually manufacturing fertilizer. And if you see fertilizer, we import most of the fertilizer. And this company is selling, for example, it's a D compound fertilizer. There are should be 350.
Interesting.
Kwacha. But you know, most fertilizers are fetching at around 700 and 800 kwacha, which is becoming too expensive for farmers,
for local
whereby you may not actually reap the benefits of your harvest.
Exactly.
So this has been quite an issue of concern, and we saw the Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Elas Mubanga, did visit that same firm to just see what are the challenges. Well, some of the challenges that come and most SMEs continue to face is the issue of capital. They have limited capital. We also have the issue of machinery, equipment. So like for this firm, they had to actually improvise everything here, where they have to design these machines to just see if they can produce what they want. But you can imagine, if you capitalize them, how much we can cut on in terms of the costs associated with the farmers' input support program, especially when it comes to purchasing of inputs, particularly fertilizer. So we get to listen to this story on the other side. You too can add your perspective as you are watching the Camnet Breakfast. Stay tuned.
The first ever European Union Zambia Economic Business Forum has commenced in Lusaka at the Mulungushi Conference Center and is being held under the theme Economic Transformation Through Green Growth. Several local and European Union businesses are exhibiting at the forum in an effort to improve investment between the EU and Zambia. And Zambia's President Hakainde Hichilema, who officially launched the program, says driving economic success is not equivalent to being a bootlicker or an agent of imperialism of the European Union, as is being purported by some sector of society.
Driving economic success is not equivalent to be a bootlicker to anyone. It's not equivalent to the agent of imperialism. I'm no agent of no one. I'm an agent of the people of Zambia to make that.
And President Hichilema says the European Union market is very difficult for African businesses to access and has called on the EU to open up its markets to African products and businesses.
EU. There are many things we need to look at. Sometimes your market is difficult to access. Can we open it up a bit? Let's open it up. The opposite is equally true. Sometimes we have our own rigidities here.
Meanwhile, European Union Commissioner for Economic Development, Trade, Industry and Mining Ambassador Albert Muchanga has called for the release of the fund meant for the green transition, which the polluters of the world are supposed to pay to the affected countries.
The principle in green transition is that the polluter pays. Developed countries made commitments for the rest of the world to embark on a green transition. And so far, those funds have not been released. So we make another call for the release of those funds.
And European Union Commissioner for Agriculture says the agriculture sector has come under attack due to climate change and that small agriculture businesses have mostly been affected, thereby posing a danger to food security. He says there is need to find a lasting solution to climate change by investing in smart agriculture system.
Zambia can count on the European Union as a partner. The country with its vast agricultural sector, natural resources, and young population has a huge potential. We are keen to set together the right conditions to exploit these possibilities for the country's sustainable and inclusive development.
The president also took time to visit some of the local and international businesses exhibiting at the forum and encouraged them to ensure that they clinch business deals. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Zambia has been grappling with the high production costs in the agriculture sector, and the purchasing of inputs takes up the larger chunk of the sector budget under the Farmers Input Support Program, FISEP. Earlier this week, Republican President Hakainde Hichilema disclosed that government is working together with farmers and fertilizer suppliers to reduce the cost of fertilizer and to have the commodity produced locally. Zambia has an opportunity to reduce the imports of expensive chemical fertilizer by utilizing nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, and the private sector, based in Lusaka West, is Capricorn Fertilizer Company, which uses local solutions to produce organic fertilizer among other products. The firm has employed 100 people, mostly women, to produce fertilizer that goes along with a competitive price. Capricorn Fertilizer Director Lucky Kanjolo says they have the capacity to complement the government's effort of making crop farming cheaper using local organic fertilizer, which are good and effective compared to chemical fertilizers.
Well, We're looking between $3.5 to $4 million that can help us to set up all the necessary equipments that we want to do, and the plant, setting up a plant here as well as in Kasama. We are ready to go. If we have the capacity now, then we are talking that between September, November, we've started producing already. Organic D compound fertilizer is trading at 350 kwacha. Compared to others who are selling fertilizer in this nation, they are selling 800, others 850, others up to 900 kwacha. But to us, it's low. It's 350 kwacha only per bag, a 50 kg bag of fertilizer.
The firm, which uses locally sourced materials to produce fertilizer, however, in order to effectively save the nation, it needs a push from the government.
That we're just using one dryer, and we are having an order of 10,000 tons. How can we reach that? We fail because of the challenges that we have. So we are urging and appealing to the government. We are appealing for help. They help us with machinery so that we can able to manage to supply to our clients. It's very good that Zambians now have realized that organic is the way to go. Yes, so we are hoping that if the government helps us, meaning we are able to supply and make Zambia an organic nation.
Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises Development, Elias Mubanga, has assured that government will support the firm to meet fertilizer demands, given that the project is in tune with government's desire to reduce the cost of agriculture production and steer job creation.
According to what they've told me, where I'm stepping, this is already sold to our farmers. So the only issue they are also facing and crying for is to make sure that they scale up. They need more dryers, especially during the rain season. So we will look into that as government. This is why this ministry was created, is to develop, these innovations, and we'll make sure that we'll help out. Because imagine if this can be developed to high productive scale, and then they can, supply to the entire country, then the government will save a lot.
It is possible to prioritize local solutions while thinking global. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
This project will create thousands of jobs, and its impact will be felt across the country. I'm going to spend a bit more time just talking about some of the benefits that we envision will come online as a result of this mega investment by FKML. Now, we believe that on the production side, production is expected to go up by as much as 135,000 metric tons by the year 2030. Now, to put this in context, that is about maybe 20,000 metric tons per year, or year on year, between the years 2023 and 2030. It is also expected that this new investment will up the contribution of the mine to our GDP by 2.3%, which in real terms is around about over $1 billion between the years 2022 and 2030. Again, this growth in GDP is what naturally will translate into more and better creation of job opportunities, not just across the mining sector, but across other sectors of the economy.
Welcome back. We were just zooming in some of the stories that were making the headlines in the news in the recent past, and quite a number of interesting aspects there. And just now, it is the right time for us to have our interview, and our guest is in the studio. And he is the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga. And we are discussing economic transformation. As you may be aware, over the past 3 decades, the global economy has been witnessing an unprecedented phase of trade and partnership agreements meant to transform their economies. This process was triggered by the adoption of open-door policies by almost every major economy. Several countries sought ways of forging close relations with their immediate neighbors, while some developed countries particularly sought ways to accord differential and favorable treatment to developing countries. Interesting. Zambia recently held its first ever 2 days European Union Economic Business Forum, which was held on the 18th and to the 19th of May 2022. Quite interesting issues did emerge there, and we are going to be discussing various issues pertaining to that. Honorable, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you, viewers.
We are glad that
you can join us this morning.
Much appreciated. I just had to make time for this.
Thank you. I'm sure our viewers were really looking forward to who our guest was this morning, and I did allude to the fact that it's a must-watch interview so that they can, learn more, one or two things. Yeah. Honorable, what is the significance of the forum to the country that we recently had?
It is. First and foremost, I really have to appreciate Camnet TV for inviting us to come and be a part of this program, so that we are given an opportunity and a time to engage with our viewers all across the country. Government has come up with a number of economic transformation agendas and programs, and we cannot do this in isolation. We need to inform the nation so that we move together. And to achieve this, we need you, the private media houses, and particularly yourselves, Camnet, to make sure that we disseminate the information. And when I received the invite from yourselves and as we do this, I was so glad. So there is no way I was going to miss this interview for anything. You have asked me a question of the significance of the EU-Zambia Economic Forum.
Exactly.
His Excellency the President has always said it from inception. And he's been very consistent during his inaugural speech and during his opening of the 13th session of the National Assembly. He said, we need to develop this country, to transform it through trade and investment. We need to get our local entrepreneurs involved in the transformation of our economy. In the past, we've seen where our local entrepreneurs did not have a platform, did not have a voice, did not have someone to listen to them and engage them to develop this country. For a very long time, Zambia has refused to believe in its local people, to be a part of the value chain in transforming the economy. And now we have this leadership through His Excellency the President that says, guys, if the economy of this country is not developed, we'll continue to be beggars. And to transform this economy, it is about how businesses are set in Zambia and how Zambians become the major players in the business sector. But how do Zambians become the major players? We need to give value addition to all our minerals, be it copper, be it agricultural products, be it timber, anything that you think about. We can't keep externalizing it in its raw form. But to give value addition to it, it will need us to come up with industries. And industries will create different jobs, different revenue sources. But we do not need to reinvent the wheels, to go back in schools, to go back in technical schools and tell Zambians to start coming up with machinery and everything. The world has evolved. So to do this, we can't do it alone. We need to work with strategic stakeholders. And that is within the region, outside the region, and across the world, should I say. And first of its kind, Europe has got the technology that it takes to help us transform from a predominantly extractive economy to a manufacturing economy. So His Excellency, through my ministry, we've engaged the European Union, and they've agreed to work together with Zambians. And how do they work together with Zambians? It is through partnerships and joint ventures. Because for a long time we've seen that Zambians have got resources, but they've only been taken by foreign nationals. But we want to change the narrative. Zambians must be part of the players through partnerships and joint ventures. So now the Europeans have come. Look, it is important. We've seen a single European country, a single Asian country, a single American country could call the entire Africa and do business with them. But we have tried to do the other way around, where Zambia deals with the entire Europe and see how best they can invest in our country on mutual benefit, both to Europe and Zambia. Remember, Europe is the single largest community in the world economically. They are worth almost 20 trillion. Zambia, okay, we don't need to talk about it. We know where we are. But to develop ourselves, value addition, develop our copper into wires and many other things, make our maize from only beyond the milling into cereals and many other things, we need a developed economy, which will partner, not only do this work, which will partner, to enhance our production of maize, our production of soya beans and many other things. We need to mechanize our farms, where we're going to process and package these things, and Europe has come on board. And they want to do that with us, right here in Zambia. So many Zambian business people are coming on board. So we are asking, as a government, we don't want to do this. We've seen in the past where government has been at the center of business. We want the private sector. Our job and mandate as a government is to provide an enabling environment for the small-scale players, for the large-scale players in Zambia to partner with the foreign community. Once there is partnership, there is equitable share of resources. There's skill transfer, which is so meaningful. There is resource sharing, because we have the resources, they have the money, we partner together. And this is what we are doing. But it has been a very exciting economic forum, which when the Europeans came, they said they are willing to invest from inception 1.6 billion euros. His Excellency the President said it. There is no way we can set for 1.6 billion euros in an economy worth trillions of euros. We said, let us start from 5 billion euros. It was well received by even our partners in Europe. And just a few hours after that event, we signed the first of its ever kind memorandum of understanding and working relationship agreement between ourselves and a European company called ASECO from Poland, worth 10 million euros. So it is a good forum which has drawn a lot of attention from different circles of the world, because Zambia is very open to investment with consistent policies that we are bringing on board, and the world wants to be a part of us. 3 days ago, I received a call, and I must mention proudly, for a very long time, Zambia is becoming so attractive even to countries that we are not so much engaging with. The state of Israel reached out to us through my office to say, we want to do business with you. Can we have a forum where you bring Zambian businessmen to do business with the Israeli businessmen? So this coming next week, Friday, we'll be having an equivalent of that summit, but in a smaller version, of course, but it is a big way to start. So the state of Israel is with us. Just yesterday, through the economic advisor to the president, the Chinese ambassador reached out to say, we need to do this as well. But our mode of investment has changed. It is value addition, it is partnership, it is joint ventures that we're going to see.
Honorable, others would argue that most of the times investment pledges have not come to fruition, and under your tenure as the United Party for National Development, how keen are you to ensure that these various investment pledges are actualized so that the country can benefit from
Excellent. Look, yes, we have seen this. Even people like myself have come on TV to tell the people we're going to create so much jobs, but people don't see the jobs. There's something that we've always missed out: private sector engagement. It shouldn't be the government every time to do transactions with foreign companies. No. My responsibility is to make sure that I bring her, I bring you, send you off to the business community from different worlds that are coming to invest in this country. The biggest mistake, again, where we have made as a country, is not to allow Zambians to participate, but we just want government and allow the foreign companies that come to do everything by themselves in this country. We are changing the narrative. Once they do themselves everything, the ecosystem of economic evolution or transformation, it will never be appreciated by Zambians. It will all be taken by themselves. But if we take one Zambian from Chivombo, one from Mpika or Chiwundaponde, another one from Kasama and Chinsari, another one from Copper Belt, another one from Livingston, another one from Monze, where do you scatter? Investment will scatter from across parts of the country, and people will leave the reality of investment that government has brought. And this is what exactly we're doing. But to bring this investment into this country, I've traveled across the world now. I've been in Europe, I've been in Asia, I've been part of Africa. The biggest frustration that the world has been having to invest in Zambia is delay, bureaucracy involved in doing things, lack of follow-ups. We've learned our lessons from the past government and from the past regime and how we've not been doing right things as a government. We are making follow-ups. I can assure you the European Union Forum was exciting. We had over 130 companies, over 100 companies participating. We are making follow-ups on each one of them. We said you could invest in agriculture. Where are we? You said you could invest in science and technology. Where are we? We are doing that. And I can assure you, individual ministers are very, very much keen to make sure that they make follow-ups. The Minister of Science and Technology, Honorable Mutati, the first one who even signed that 10 million euro I'm talking about, it's signed. It's going to be happening. We need to transform the postal services the way they are doing. Because of the evolution of science and technology and electronic systems, our postal services is almost defunct. So now we need to move in tandem with time. So this company, ASECO, that is coming, is one of the largest European technology ICT companies. They're merging. And even the Minister of Science and Technology is still following up on many others. Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mtoropiri, is engaging a lot of European companies on how best they can invest in agriculture, not only to produce what we already produce, but even beyond that, but enhanced, process it and package it in Zambia, satisfy the local market, and then export to the rest of the world.
I know you have touched some of the points with regards to my question that I want to follow up right now. You said over 100 companies were in participation during this forum, but do we know how many deals or investment have so far emerged from the forum, or the ministry is doing a post-mortem exercise for the outcome? Or perhaps it's an academic exercise.
Okay, it's good. You can refer to it as an academic exercise. We refuse to take it that way. And I don't blame you for rendering it that way, because in the past it has always been that. But we are changing the narrative. You must understand, even coming here, this is taxpayers' money that has sponsored me to come and sit here. So there should be value attached to this money. We've held forums one after another. We spend people's money for us to stand there. There should be profit that should be generated out of that. So even in these events that we are doing, we've signed one deal with ASECO. We are about to sign another deal in the health sector with Fox Health, which is a Swedish company. They are looking at how can we improve the health sector in the rural communities. Much of the best of health that we can get in Zambia is in the urban areas. Of course, with some decent kind of health sector again in the peri-urban, but go into the rural communities. Our brothers and sisters are living like it's unbearable. I don't even want to make a description. So even in that sector, we're trying to bring sound health practitioners to see how best they can reach out to them. Among many others, in agriculture, a number of deals will be signed, because I can assure you our priority is food security in this country.
Then, Honorable, we also want to get your perspective, because we understand that Zambia has various trade policies and legal frameworks that seeks to make Zambia add value to its products, industrialized in a diversified manner. But penetration to the European market has remained a challenge. I don't know if the government has made a headway towards addressing that barrier.
Yes, we're making headways. Look, this forum that we had, and I like the concerns that you are raising. I really like the concerns you are raising. It is important that I even update the nation on these facets. This government is committed to making sure that we inform not only the business community, but just the public at large of the privilege we have of penetrating not only the European market, but the American market as well, Chinese market, and just across the world. Europe has set aside certain provisions for Zambian market to reach into their market without any tariff barriers, without any taxes to be paid, free. The Zambian community don't know about this, and we bring it to their attention. And if you want to know the exact commodities that you can transport from Zambia into Europe, through my Zambia Development Agency, Executive Director, Issa Alwampa, and team, they will inform you. But I've told you, they are there. But the biggest challenge that Zambian business community has faced is the quality. Every time Europe is telling us, good, your maize is good, your avocados are good, your mangoes are good, but the quality is not good. They've been making these excuses, and we've been getting frustrated as a community. Why are they saying our products are bad? But they come here and eat it, but they just want to bring their food here. What have we done as a responsible government? We've reached out to the Europeans. We've reached out to our brothers and sisters in the Americas, in Asia. Bring quality assurance standards, set them up in Zambia. You know what quality you want. So that when we produce our products, they are quality checked, certified and assured from here, so they reach your market. It's the best way. So they are coming to set that one up. So that whenever you produce nangufeni mango panganda, nangufeni avocado, nangufeni mapela, they should be certified fit and safe and exported from here, so that no barriers are there. In the past, they could accuse us or say that, thing like that, the quality is bad. But nobody was making a step to making sure that quality assurance system is set here. Let me tell you how good setting up the quality assurance systems in Zambia is. It is not only to give access to the Zambian products to reach the European market. It will create jobs as well for the local people in Zambia. That will be part of the value chain in the quality assurance system. It will create revenue as well. It will create sources of income for labor, energy systems, among many others. So we are making deliberate moves and policies to make sure that we have access to the European market. But before we do that, we need to enhance production of our products. Right now, maize, vegetables, the quantities that we produce, if it's maize, can only feed us and a little bit of our neighbors. But we need to produce more so that we feed the world.
In case you are just joining us, you are watching the Camnet interview on the Breakfast Show, and we are hosting the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga, and we are discussing economic transformation. And you too can add to the conversation by following us on our Facebook page and add your comments and questions. You can equally do the same using the number that is scrolling on your screen to get the conversation going. And moving on with our discussion, Zambia also has signed various trade partnerships and agreements at bilateral and regional as well as a global level to liberalize trade. Among them, Zambia is a member of the Southern Africa Development Committee, Free Trade Area, SADC, FTA, and the Common Market for Western Africa, COMESA, and the Customs Union. The country has also signed to the Tripartite Free Trade Area and also the continent-wide Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which is more topical at the moment. And we want to just find out from you, Honorable Minister, how is Zambia going to benefit from these agreements, or already benefiting from agreements like the ones that are existing, like the ones under SADC and COMESA, before we talk about the Continental Free Trade Area, which has not commenced in terms of trade.
Okay. You have asked me a very important question, and I must be very categorical in responding to it. The President said, I have to refer again to the inaugural speech, because I think that set the tone of how business should be done in this country, within the region and outside. He said, Africa always trades with the rest of the world, except itself. When the President said that, Africa needs to trade, Zambia needs to trade with its neighbors, first number one with itself, with its neighbors, the region, and the rest of the world. I went to do statistics, to check for statistics. How much revenue is Africa doing, first with Zambia doing with its neighbors? When you look at how much Zambia, business-wise, is doing with its neighbors, it's very little. Less than $1 billion. Later on, when you see how much Africa is doing business within itself, Africa has got about 53 countries. Mm-hmm. The 53 countries within itself, we do trade less than $10 billion. To be precise, it's about $7.8 billion. Not even more, it doesn't even reach $10 billion. But for Africa, with the rest of the world, Africa, now trading with the rest of the world, we trade in excess of $600 billion. I'm very realistic.
Yeah.
With Africa, within ourselves, and all our resources we have, we trade less than $10 billion. But with the rest of the world, we trade in excess of $600 billion. China alone has said this year, their focus is to trade with Africa alone. Their target is to hit or go beyond $300 billion. But why would we fail within ourselves? Look, it is the resources that leave Africa to go to the rest of the world. $600 billion plus. And one country is saying, this year we need to hit the mark or beyond $300 billion. But yet within ourselves, we trade less than $10 billion. Imagine if we say, let's trade $10 billion with the rest of the world and $600 billion within Africa. No African child will go in poverty. Zero. So we want to have a common market where we trade, and which is the African Continental Free Trade Area, which is very good. Then it will enhance trade between the African regions. But before we go into the African Continental Free Trade Area, the question we should ask ourselves as Zambians is, what benefits has the Zambian economy gotten from COMESA? What benefits has the Zambian economy gotten from SADC? Has it helped to grow the business community in Zambia, the industrialization policy of Zambia, or has it crippled it? Right now, we need to make the most. There are some certain desirables that at a later platform, when I come to discuss to the nation, I'll tell you that we needed to do better in COMESA in this regard. So did we have to do in SADC. Later on, we jumped so quickly to go to African Continental Free Trade Area. If I were a minister of commerce last year, or the time when we were signing it, I would have said, let's hold on to it. In as much as we want to do business together, let us hold on to it until we negotiate everything but good for Zambia. We cannot sign into it. I did my first meeting in Ghana early this year on the African Continental Free Trade Area, and I can assure you, we don't need as a country to rush into it. In its current form, look, the document is good. It will make Africa trade within itself. But the way it has been structured, there are some certain desirables that we feel Africa should refine so that there is no bigger player, bigger brother and younger brother in this. There are some certain things that if we allow them to just being actualized in its current, forget that if you want Zambia to industrialize. So we've raised these concerns through the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area for them to allow us to look at these documents and go back to them and discuss on how Zambia will be given that opportunity to grow. But in the absence of this, we are not so keen to ultimately go into it. But I must make mention that Africans are beginning to work together. The Secretary General, very reasonable man, we sat on the sidelines of the meeting and discussed. And there is a number of things that we are raising to them. This African Continental Free Trade Area is big and many jobs have been created. The Secretariat is in Ghana, over 200 jobs. His Excellency the President
is quite vital in terms of trade and especially how the market forces are playing out. The country is faced with a situation where we are experiencing the high cost of commodity prices, and we are looking at, for example, essential commodities like cooking oil.
Yes.
We also look at mealie meal, though mealie meal the price has been stable for a while now, yes, since last year. But when it comes to cooking oil, it has been beyond the reach of the many
Zambians out there.
Yeah, so we wanted to find out how you are working with the manufacturing sector to ensure that Zambia is able to meet, address this challenge and probably reduce the cost of cooking oil, among other essential commodities.
And so, before you answer you respond to that question, maybe just to add on, you did mention that the manufacturing sector industry in Zambia is not that strong. What is your administration doing that, coupling with that questions that my colleague asked?
Okay, I think let me respond to your question first, which you have said it is not very strong. Indeed, it is not very strong. Zambia, all that we've been doing in the past is just doing trade, just selling. We grow, we sell, we grow, we sell. We don't value add to anything. When you talk about maize, the only thing we do to maize is mealie meal. So I talk to when we want cornflakes, we send that out into South Africa and many other countries so that they give us the cornflakes back from the same maize we have. But we need to manufacture, value add. Do you know how much we externalize when we give away the maize? We're externalizing industry. Instead of setting up an industry here for conflict, the industry we're externalizing jobs. People that could have started here, gotten jobs, work in that industry, they're not working here, they're just sitting to watch. Others in a different country are working on our behalf. Do you know other things that we're externalizing? Forex. So we want that here. Thank you to countries like Farmanova, Trade Kings, and others that have come on board to do some manufacturing, but we can do more and better. So as government, we are trying to industrialize. The European Union is willing to do that with us. The Israeli government is willing to do that with us. The Japanese now, I've been in talks with the Japanese ambassador, and we'll make an announcement soon on how best we can do this. And look, we had even the assembly plants of cars in this country. Probably you are. Yes. But during my lifetime, I had seen that happen. Okay. I'm old enough. Ndola used to do plans. Land Rover. You know these Range Rovers you see? The company that owns them, Land Rover, they used to assemble those things in Ndola. Imagine if our policies were consistent and good. Range Rover Sport, Evoque, Vogue could have been just been made in Zambia. Tata was assembled here. Peugeot was assembled here. We can do that. I can assure you, it may seem so overly ambitious, but we want to do that back here. So we're trying to build and promote the manufacturing sector in this Zambia. Is encouraging farmers to produce more. That's why even when you see that European forum that you saw, we want agriculture investment in this country, mechanized to produce more soybeans, more sunflower, more cotton seed. Because from cotton, we're not only going to start making linen, from cotton seed comes cooking oil. So once we invest more in this year is going to be challenging. I can assure the nation. We'll see these prices. If we try to stabilize them, they will reduce, but they're not reduced to a certain level. Because we're still importing even the cotton, the seed, we're still importing even the sunflower. But we need to produce more, not only for ourselves, but even for export. The war in Russia and Ukraine, we cannot downplay it. People are saying, Ukraine, let me explain how it is affecting us. And why I want all Zambians to work very hard and invest heavily in soybeans. Because the price of soybeans will never get down. It will just be going up. It's not only good for Zambia if we produce more for local consumption. Even you individual farmers, you get more revenue out of it. Let me quickly tell you. Russia and Ukraine, collectively, they are 60% producers of sunflower in the world. 60%. But in Ukraine right now, they can't farm, they can't harvest. You know what is happening? There are bombs, guns everywhere. Russia, by the way, Ukraine alone produces 43% of the world sunflower. Alone. Collectively, they produce 60%. So the difference, 43 minus 60, it will give us how much? 17. So now, this 60% of sunflower is out of the world market. So what is left in the world is 40%. So the entire world is chasing the 40% of the crushed material of sunflower. So what is the alternative now? Soybeans, which we are producing, and we are producing it in smaller quantities. That's why now there is a small number of sellers, the world chasing them. So now they are making a killing out of it. They will demand a price like of their choice, and you buy it because you've got no choice. And that's why even in Zambia, you see, these prices are escalating because much of the production of the sunflower is not here, and the soybeans is not here. So we need to produce more so that we become not only self-sustainable, but become the alternative of Russia and Ukraine. We can do that as a Zambian government.
Are you injecting the necessary resources as the government?
And this is exactly what we are doing. Number one, we need to bring investment. And it is not only going to be foreign direct investment, even local investors. And that's why I'm pleading to the nation. Let us work together.
Let me just hold your thought, Honorable. We have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please kindly tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
This is calling from Ghana district.
Please go ahead with your contribution, ma'am.
Good morning, Minister.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you. How is Ndola?
I'm from Chirano district.
Chirano. Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. It's good they are not there anymore.
Yeah, unfortunately, people here when you talk about Ghana because they still think American brothers are there. And we are here good Christian for the good thing.
We thank God.
Yes, sir. I've been in contact for President one chairman and his brother is in province and at the international level. And I'm here in Goa. I've seen there is a lot of stuff you have to especially there for comedy supposed to be. A few people last week people are coming from Kenya, Tanzania, to come and start soybeans and other state soil.
Yeah.
They come from the Kosumbaleta and the Congo quite something. But the problem that I feel that is like Congo, what here the grow that of collection is a big choice between one portion of Atlanta and the Congo, because people go to the ancestral methods and others. But the problem is that the Congolese have put a barrier whereby it's very difficult for you to go out. Let them come here. You allow them to come and buy inland. Don't allow the Zambians to trade inland. Then they defend the price. And they give them an example. If you get someone to grow a tomato to get a lot of money, but then they tell you at the moment the price goes down. It's frustrated. No, we need a lot of information done.
Yes, sir.
I come from Japan and to give them, but unfortunately I want to grow with that India and the people. This is very well. This is just something that there are a lot of young volunteers want to start free farm and they serve these people. But the problem is when people are crossing, they want to push to that. It's about 2 kilometers from the road, from the national road. We need information. We need information. Otherwise, you are explaining and the way that they think. But how many people are listening to radio to see the other moment?
Yes, sir.
Can you do the India Vatican? If the India Vatican are communicating with the people, we can also talk to other people.
Yes, sir.
I know and the of meeting where we invite these people to come. Not all them are having a complaining. But when they are arriving, so that a lot of people not doing that. The moment they start to PM for because there is no information which is going down there. Inflation rate has gone down. But how many people is that? You are seeing that you don't know because you are not expecting the community to come down to these people and explain that. You are very much explaining well, but how many people know on the ground? They can do better, and I know in the twinkling of an eye, Zambia can change.
Yes.
But the problem is that everyone, so the way I'm talking, I'll be considered a politician. No, let's change the narrative, sir.
Yeah.
Involve the people who can speak to the people.
Touch it.
I appreciate and I really appreciate. I've given you on the WhatsApp because I'm watching you on WhatsApp. I've given you my number. If you don't mind, I can give you some notes that we can share and we can do better, sir.
Just send us a text message to the number you are using.
Sorry?
You can send us a text message to the number you used to call us. Then we'll give the number to the minister.
I really appreciate the lot that we can do. As if you get, I'm inviting you to come to my chance and see what is taking place. And you'll be shocked that there is a lot and a lot of exports that are not being noticed. Sometimes it's very painful. You find the foreign vehicles coming inland to come and transport our goods and services.
Okay.
Thank you. The government know about it because according to the way I know, the foreign vehicle cannot come inland and transport the goods and services. It's against the law. I don't know. Correct me, sir.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
For your perspective. We also want to get the perspective of other viewers as well as the minister to explain more issues that we want him to clarify. I think he was also actually responding to your question, especially on trade and that they are also into farming soybeans, which
we touched on.
First, I think what the gentleman has said is quite important, and we cannot downplay it. He's saying the government of UPND is doing a lot of good things, but we need to communicate more to the people. I heed that advice, sir, and definitely we are doing all we can to reach out to the people, and we'll do more. We'll do more. So we need to, and I hope you give me that number for the gentleman so that we go and see exactly what they're doing. But to tell you what we are doing in the next coming few months, through my ministry, we have been having challenges. The Ministry of, sorry, not the Ministry, the Farmers Union, the chain stores and many others could come to us and say, we produce enough onions in the country. But the chain stores would come and say, they don't. Others would argue, quality. We produce this. There is enough wheat. So what we have done now, we are working on it in my ministry. We want to hold what we are calling a product index, product statistics index, which is going to be held in different provincial headquarters of the country, where we need to know who is producing what product and what are the quantities they are producing. Once we have the statistics of every product, we will know how much we are producing, we know how much we need to consume in the country, we know how much we can send out. It hasn't been happening in the past. It has never happened before.
And Honorable, I know we are coming towards the close of our engagement, but I'm going to skip a lot of questions, but I'm going to ask this important question before we wind up, because Zambians have been asking a lot of questions to say the president has been traveling to various destinations.
Exactly, foreign trips and no results.
Have they yielded any positive results? And the critics are saying,
and you know, these are
doing nothing.
Exactly, these are the main criticism that your administration has received of late.
Let me tell you this. It is very unfortunate and extremely lamentable when we hear a community say what they're doing is nothing. And I need to beseech you, the media, to say, take ownership and follow-ups in what the president is doing. In the Democratic Republic of Congo,
and
we are running out of time.
Can we allow that person?
Oh, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you are our last caller. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from, please?
Reverend, I'm calling you from America.
Reverend, we are giving you
just a minute.
You're giving me a minute?
Yes.
We know you can brief. You can be brief, we know.
Let me try to see if I can compress what I wanted to say. Good morning, Honorable Minister.
Good morning, Reverend.
You're one of my best ministers that, the new Donor administration has produced. And,
thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
But then I just wanted to basically have the fact that I need to confess because of the minute. It was an option time, maybe I could engage you at a different platform.
Yes. Just send your number as well. Just send your number to the same number you've called, then we can engage each other on the private line.
Because I think what you've been saying in terms of production, locally to increase and take advantage of that, and maybe when you look at the issue of production.
Yes, sir.
I think that one of the things that I strongly have been advocating for is what even the Minister of Defense, I think, I heard him talk about in terms of, the government trying to go back to the system that previously we had in the era where, we absorb the graduating students, whether it's from secondary school or from the tertiary, so that, we can then, deploy this human resource into the agriculture sector. But also that because government and the chiefdom, they work in partnership. So we can have, besides, the cooperatives are teaching but I think agriculture, we can then have the government and the chiefdom through the chief and the chieftainess, give out certain portions of land to these young people. We can be leased out or whichever arrangement where, a lot of these young people can be absorbed. These the plans that, the government has and what the president was doing recently, I think, when they had an agriculture in there or something like that, where, certain incentives could be given to heighten the production in the agriculture. So that, because the young people are used to energetic, if we can exert and absorb that energy into that sector, I think that we'll be able to meet those expectations in terms of, having, high yield and high production. Because we have a lot of, we brag about, a lot of arable land that we have as a nation. And I think this is where we need to begin, addressing these efforts in terms of, production and resource investment, using this particular human resource of the young people, that most of them are looking for, white collar jobs. But if we can encourage them to go into this only benefit them because, in the agriculture sector, it's a lifelong, investment because people then they don't have to depend on, a paycheck at the end of the day by the employer. They can be then self-sustaining at some stage, after they've, been supported by government at an initial stage.
Thank
so
you.
the way I want to build up on that because I've been given a minute, I think I'll be able to end at that point.
No, we'll bring him back.
We'll bring him back. We'll definitely do that.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much.
Honorable, you were winding up, and we will allow you to wind up and probably tally with his comment because
I think I don't even need to comment more on what the Reverend has said. All I can just say is thank you for the guidance and advice. Indeed, we need to empower the youths with land and farmer input support programs, extension farming officers to guide them on how to do this. But in conclusion, I just want to say, Zambian people, let us work together. Our agenda to transform the economy is not politically inclined, set, or focused. It is general Zambian citizenry development. And to do this development, we are saying, let Zambians have an attitude of hard work. The time for handouts is gone. Trust me, it's gone, and it should never be allowed to come back. It's a time now where every Zambian got involved to work and be rewarded accordingly and handsomely. When we say the country's economy to be built, somebody must work their hands, must work the land. Then there will be enough for everyone to eat. In the past, why the economy of this country has continued to dwindle, because money must be earned. But it was given when somebody never worked and spent without return. Money must never be spent. It must be invested. So what we're asking is the youthful economy. Our mothers and fathers, let us work together. And to work together, we are providing facilities that are enablers for you to keep working. Through the Constituents Development Fund, I want to implore all members of Parliament, be it in government, in opposition and independent, go back to your constituencies. For the first time, this government has disbursed in excess of 8 million for the people to be used in the constituencies. Yet this money is still being stored in these areas. But Zambian people, the new Dawn government is here to support you, to work with you. Believe in our vision, believe in our agenda. Together we are going to build a land of hope that everybody will be proud of. Thank you very much.
Honorable, thank you for coming for the program. We value your support every time we call you.
Much appreciated.
Well, we were having a conversation with the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Honorable Chipoka Mulenga, and we were discussing economic transformation and a number of issues. Just now we'll take a short break. We'll be back on the other side. Keep it on Camnet TV.
Special announcement. We regret to announce the postponement of the Love and Marriage Business Conference from the 28th May 2022 to a later date to be announced. We regret any inconveniences caused.
Only to find I'm rested.
Thank you for still staying tuned to Camnet TV. Earlier, before we went on a break, we were having Commerce Minister Chipoka Mlenga, who were just discussing economic transformation. We did quite have a very, very good conversation with him, and so I must mention that we had good calls coming from people who are contributing to what exactly the new administration should. Unfortunately the time, but we hope that we'll have him next time on the show.
And our Facebook followers are following. We are seeing William there is amongst the frequent listeners of the breakfast show.
We will assure him that his comment or message will be directed to the minister so that he could respond later on.
Just because Miriam, you were complimenting me in the morning. And, look who storms there.
Okay. You know, I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to do that, majestic introduction.
Nice. So
we are the guest.
Hey, Sharon. Yes. We are having business for breakfast, and I'm the unusual host, co-host here.
Unusual, yes.
Just succeeding Prudence to the time to fitting in the
shoes,
of these ladies. And I was actually flattered by Miriam when we were starting, and I told her to say, Sharon never does that. And,
because she was trying to make you feel comfortable. You know, it's not your show. You don't do business for breakfast. So really, it's always nice to have that rapport before you start a show, so that you create that euphoria. You get excited. You think you're there, but you're actually here.
Okay.
So basically, that's what she was trying to do.
Yes, and I knew the response was going to be as the way you were, just the way as you were putting it. So I'm not even surprised at all. But Sharon, what are we expecting, especially in the world of news? We understand you are managing our desk, and what should we expect for the day?
Being put on the spot, but there are always answers, like a politician. He never says no, or she never says no to something. There's always a response. So therefore, my response now is that just remain expectant. We are moving towards the right direction. We have quite a number of stories, though, happening from the courtroom, from the community. And obviously, some of the stories you zoomed them in as the show went on this morning. But we will continue to follow them up, because the idea of news really is to ensure that the stories reach their logical conclusion. So we'll still follow up on some of the stories, like the Campasa story. It's been running for quite a very long time, Patrick. You and I are aware that this story has been in existence at least from 2015. Exactly, So it has just resurfaced. And I was telling Alex yesterday, the one who covered the story, that there's more you need to do to the story, because what you're doing has basically been done before by a very renowned reporter. You know her. Yes, Mwape Kumwenda. She did the story to the latter, and the story has resurfaced once again, but we will continue to follow it up and see that it, at least maybe this time, it will reach its logical conclusion. And also in the courtroom, we have stories regarding Boma Nusambo. Also, we have stories of Shimba Kambwili, who was reported in a far district, and people are saying, why would you go that far to report that?
Exactly,
I was directing my question to that as well.
Because it has been a trend of late, where we see Sharon, you are based in Kablonga. We are reporting you in Luano district.
Luano district, and then you need to be transported
that far. As if the Central Police cannot handle your case.
Imagine.
I think it's because it's political. I think that's what I can say. It's political. These are political gimmicks that people want to play here and there to fix someone, because they can't directly fix them, so they will try and use the law. Because when I'm reported in another district or another province, I'll have to go and report there. So really, I'll have to travel, I'll have to use my resources, and probably if I don't have resources, I'll be arrested here and transported there like cargo, So that torture that goes in is what people want to inflict on the victims of this situation.
Put you in a that is not comfortable. Then you travel through.
Imagine the distance. Imagine the distance. We did see Chilupcheta Ali, the EPP president, being all the way to Lukulu. Yeah, so quite a side situation. I must say.
He was kept there for some time. And yesterday he issued a statement, both a video and text statement, saying, "I just want to say thank you to the media guys for for sending the message across and enlightening the situation that I was going through. And he promised to have a press briefing and issue us with more information on what exactly happened while he was that side. So yeah, those are some of the stories that we'll be tracking this morning for our main news.
And we have we'll tell us more about the new segment that will be coming on the big business for breakfast regarding entrepreneurship. Okay,
basically, Patrick Soko, this new administration has placed more emphasis on entrepreneurship and the formation of cooperatives. And this is the more reason why, obviously, the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry, Chipoka Mulenga, mentioned one or two things regarding that, just to encourage people to come on board and supplement government's effort in ensuring that poverty is alleviated in one way or the other. One, because the government cannot manage to create this whole lot of employment for people to be safe. And therefore, cooperating partners like us, the media, we are very, very cardinal in sending the message across so that people can be enlightened on many things that are happening, so that they can also become well off as an individual before it becomes national. Because it starts with you and me, Patrick. You know that I cannot be claiming for things that I cannot do in my home. So it starts with me. And therefore, Camnet TV is bringing this segment so that you people out there can get enlightened. And you will also be given an opportunity to advertise your products so that they can sell out at competitive rates. I'm not going to say cheap because that's a wrong word to use in business. So I'll say competitive rates. And we'll just look out, actually.
Interesting. I think the segment actually brings quite diverse, because we understand that Zambia is an emerging economy.
Yes.
And bringing on board small-scale businesses, profiling them, interviewing them, and exposing their innovations, I think is quite a good arrangement. Because this is the only way they can be taken out there. They can be known and
market themselves.
Exactly. And market themselves. Like you pointed out, we are just trying to be also relevant in the country's discourse, because we understand that for any development to take place, there is need for business, because a consumptive economy is limited in terms of growth, but an export-oriented economy is actually good. Even in a family where you depend on just a salary, it's difficult to actually survive because of the needs that are never ending. So you can't just depend on the salary, because the salary usually you got to find out that you get paid, that the salary is already spent already.
It's already spent.
So but if you have businesses, it's easy to survive and actually do other things. So our dear viewers can just look out for that segment, because we want to also make sure that the business component is also enhanced on Camnet TV. And Sharon, what about in terms of on the news side? Do you also plan in terms of having
we've been planning a segment specifically for business. It will probably come once a week. It will just be for business segment, you know, where we say this is business news, specifically so that people's attention are drawn towards that. So we will actually mention, currently we run business stories, Patrick and Miriam, you know that, but we don't segment them. We just put them last. You know how business is. The way it is.
I understand.
So when you're lining up the news stories, business news usually comes last. Like yesterday, we had stories in business from Central Statistics Office, where is it Zamstats now? Yes, they were revealing the stats on the inflation rates and many other things. Then we also had a story on timber from the Ministry of Green Economy. It was business in nature. So we just put them at the end of the news bulletin, but we are looking forward to see where we can segment the news in a way that we have specific business stories on a particular day, maybe on Friday or maybe on Thursday, where we can say this is business news, so that the viewers out there are enlightened and they get excited and they're expectant of that segment. But we'll still run business stories during the week, but on that particular day we will specifically say this is business news.
What opportunities exist in terms of advertising and also partnerships for those programs you're talking about?
A lot. Partners can come on board through to our offices in IBEX and talk to us and see if we can create packages that can be on a win-win situation. This is a competitive world. We need to sit down and see how we can plan. Obviously, the planning stages has reached an advanced stage on how we can partner with different people, different business entities. Remember that it takes money to make money, and therefore you need to advertise your businesses so that you can make more money. So this will be a great platform that you need to look forward to. Soon we will do that. And like the entrepreneurship segment on the breakfast show, Patrick, I think I saw one of the text messages here from the man who was inviting the minister to Luano. He says we have a lot of people that grow different crops and the only market is
those are the people
Those are the people that we want, and therefore we ask you to look forward to this segment and ensure that you watch every time it's Friday. We have different things, and hopefully next week we'll have the Minister of Small and Medium Entrepreneurship in the Enterprise, Mr. Mubanga, so that he can also highlight one or two things regarding the business environment in this country.
I really like the way you put it, every Friday.
Yes.
Every Friday.
Because
Patrick, why are you doing that expression on me? Every Friday.
Because Friday is specifically business for breakfast.
Exactly.
For the business.
I love the emphasis. I love the emphasis.
And you're doing a good job, Miriam.
Thank you so much, Sharon.
I'm happy that you've transformed.
Oh, really?
From court. Yeah, she actually wanted to be a lawyer, but I'm thinking she's going to do business administration from now on.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Anyway, I'm glad that we had you on the show. It's the beautiful lady. You know, Prudence always do that.
Stop flattering me.
I just have to do that.
You know that I'm unflattered. And B-Mac over there behind the camera is dancing, trying to make me laugh. The usual things I do.
Imagine. Anyway, our viewers, this is where we come to the end of our program. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Camnet TV through the end of our program. We thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you so much, Patrick. And not forgetting Mr. B-Mac, and behind the tech production, Mr. Fred Monongwe, the man himself. Anyway, for me and my colleague in the studio, it's bye-bye. See us next time.
Okay.